Welcome to this session. It's a mindful eating program that prepared this session to have a virtual discussion together with our special guests. We are currently waiting for her. My names are Sarah Makweba, the founder and CEO of Mindful Eating Program. And today we're having a special discussion that is going to make us all learn about the antimicrobial crisis that is going all over the world currently. And this antimicrobial crisis, we're going to learn it in the aspect of our nutritional concern. We're going to see on the nutritional concern, how does it work in terms of what we eat, meaning meat products, animal products, together with plants. We prepared several questions and we had already emailed them to our special guests previously. So she will be answering them and elaborating to us so that we can understand more. But also, we are going to learn and we're going to know more about nutrition because it has been a very confusing field to a lot of people. We're going to learn on what roles do they play in therapeutic measures and procedures in hospital settings. Like, why are they important to be there in the hospitals? And what are the roles that they play in hospital settings, so that everyone can be aware of their importance and can know when to see them and when to schedule for an appointment to meet with them on the basis of the consultation of their health and well-being. Welcome so much to this program. I hope all of you may be familiar or you have ever heard about antimicrobial. Not only that, but you have also ever heard about nutrition or nutritionists that are in our country or outside the country. So I would like to welcome all of you and we'll soon start our program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah. It has been a very briefly and straightforward kind of introduction. But before Prof. Kinabo is starting introducing the topic, I would like you to just give a briefly, like a few sentences concerning antimicrobial resistance and nutrition. Perhaps we don't have nutritionists, maybe. So everyone, I think, would like to understanding the topic. So you are welcome.
Okay, well, the first topic of antimicrobial resistance, it's according to the definition that is given out with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. They say that is the ability of the microorganism to persist or to grow in the presence of the drugs designed and to inhibit or kill them. It's a way that microorganisms, they tend to exhibit the working mechanism of the drugs that we take. So like they overcome the drugs and it tends to to have diseases that they become uncurable with that drug. It has been a case or a scenario that has been occurring a lot of times in our hospitals, that people, they have chronic UTI, chronic typhoid, they use the same medicines that they healed them the first time, but they aren't working anymore. And this mostly, it is due to the fact that people tend to use medicines without this prescription from the doctors, and sometimes they tend to not finish their dosage as prescribed by the doctor, And others, they tend to just take in medicines which they are not even the ones that the doctor wanted them to take. So this causes the microorganism to like get used to that kind of environment and generate themselves in a way that they will resist that medicine at the time that you are supposed to use it, so that
Okay.
you can be healed. Yes. Now this thing, it has been also connected to our our foods, agricultural products. It has also, it's not only on the basis of our bodies, but also it has been connected with the food that we eat, also agricultural products, because they also use pesticides, they use insecticides, they use antibiotics to cure them. So it tends to spread from the animal products, from plants products, and then it tends to get into our bodies. So it's like something that it is spreading. It is spreading from the things that we eat to our bodies as well. So it generates that situation of antimicrobial resistance.
Okay. Thank you for that nice kind of presentation.
And the second one, okay, you told me about,
Okay, just proceed.
yeah, about the nutrition, like the roles of nutritionists in hospital settings. We have nutrition course that it's in Sokoine University, and also currently it has begun in University of Dodoma, UDOM. And this course, most of the people, they tend not to know what exactly it is all about, but that's not the big deal. But the roles, because they tend to say that they're also found in hospitals. Once you go to some of the hospitals, you'll find there's a nutritionist. And once you go to other hospitals, you'll find that there are no nutritionists. Now, this has become a question to a lot of people. They don't understand, like, are these people really important? And there are other staffs that they are from the hospitals. You're supposed to consult the nutritionist so that you can get a proper diet, especially when you're having diabetic patients or a patient that need a special diet due to the disease that he or she has. And the doctors, they tend to be the ones to prescribe, maybe just eat this, eat that, but they not give a competent, like a very in details of what to eat. Like when you just tell someone don't eat carbohydrates, somebody may not know what are the carbohydrates foods. They just know maybe it's just ugali and wali, and may not know further from that. So like these nutritionists, as they're in the hospital, like what role do they have to play? What role do they really exactly play? And why aren't they told to be like, they have to be in all of the hospitals in our country, and people, they should be aware of them, of their presence, and that they supposed to see a nutritionist as just as a normal doctor, so that they can have consultation on their healthy matters concerning with diet.
Wow, amazing. That is good. That is good. I see some people join us, like Tausi Mtengo, you're welcome. I see Isaac, George, Pascal, Meshach, you are warm welcome to this kind of platform. And we are about to start our discussion with our beloved Prof. So we are waiting for her to joining us. Yes, we are hearing you, Sarah. You want to talk to us?
No, okay, wait.
Yes, we are happy to have you right now, and we were waiting for you.
Oh, did I miss the time?
Yes, of course, it is a time.
Oh no, I thought it was starting at 11:30. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Okay, Prof. So may I take this opportunity to welcome Miss Sala, to welcome our dearest special guest, our Professor Joyce Kinabo. Welcome, Miss Sala.
Thank you. Thank you, Fahad Mwakalebela, for this opportunity. I would like to warmly welcome our special speaker and special guests to our program of mindful eating. And we have actually prepared this special day so that we can learn and we can get more familiar with the topic of antimicrobial resistance together with nutrition. And we can add up our knowledge and we can also spread this education to other people in our society for the betterment. I would like to warmly welcome Professor Joyce Kinabo, the professor at Sokoine University. You are warmly welcome.
Thank you. I don't know whether you can see me, but I don't think I'll use my video because of the challenge of internet connectivity where I am at the moment. But thank you very much for this opportunity to invite me to this event. And it's a great honor, actually. Privileged to be, probably, I don't know whether this is your first event or you have been holding other events. And if that's the case, then I would like to congratulate you for this kind of initiative. And I'm sure it will go a long way to inform and create awareness in our country about nutrition and other related issues. So I'm really privileged to be part of this event today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, our dearest Prof. Yeah, maybe Miss Sala, before sit down, I would like also to ask you to introduce as a participant to Prof so that she can know whom she's going to talking about.
Okay, thank you so much. In here, I would also like to recognize the presence of all mindful eating program members and participants who have actually actively adhered to the invitation. You are warmly welcome. Also, there are Sokoine University students and also the continuing students and the alumni students. And there are also other members who were invited via the link, which was posted in the WhatsApp status and shared to friends. Thank you so much all for coming in, and let's get ready to learn. You are all welcome.
Okay, thank you. Yes, my name is Fahad Mwakalebela, and of course I'm a product of Professor Kinabo. Professor Kinabo, she's my professor, and she taught me some courses like nutrition anatomy and physiology. It was 2018, but currently I'm pursuing Masters of Public Health Research at Nelson Mandela, specialist in determinant of health and diseases. So I'm glad to have my dearest Prof in this platform, and of course we are we appreciate your time, and we know that you have a lot of things to do. You have a lot of responsibility. Thanks for considering us. We appreciate it. And I think we can starting our discussion. I first know that we have two topics. We have nutrition concerning antimicrobial global crisis as the first topic, and how does nutrition as professional direct involved in daily therapeutic management in hospital setting. We have some sort of like a guided question that we would like you to elaborate to us and discuss. Last but not least, we have like second topic that will need you to explain to us why people don't get exposed to them, often ensuring health well-being of patients. Why people they don't expose to nutritionists. So welcome our dearest Prof.
Thank you very much. Now, I don't know how you have structured this discussion. Is someone going to be asking questions and then I respond, or I just go straight away to say what I think about the two topics?
Of course, I think you can go straight forward and explaining one by one, or if you wish, also I'll ask you a question and you will respond accordingly. So you can just choose
I think
either
that
of the
will
two.
be more lively.
Question by question.
Yeah.
Okay. So before that, I would like you to introducing to us on the concept of nutrition and antimicrobial resistance, so that we can get some sort of little understanding concerning that.
Okay, but then I think you're all nutritionists, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, of course, most of them.
So the new thing here would be the antimicrobial resistance.
Yeah, definitely.
So how many of you know about antimicrobial resistance? First of all, probably let's just go to the basics as usual. With Professor Kinabo, we go back to the basics first. Okay. So, and what language should we use? Both or only English?
I think both will be good, both English plus Swahili.
Okay, sawa kabisa. Okay, so I think first of all, we know about nutrition because most of you have been through a nutrition program at some point. The challenge here, and I don't know what really brought up this question, because nutritionists, sometimes we don't discuss about these aspects. So it was a bit like, okay, where did we get these questions? Did we get from nutritionists? Did we get from the general public? Or what was the source of inquiry?
Okay, Ms. Sala, responding to that.
Okay. These questions, the topic was suggested and questions were collected from different people as according to the topic, which was posted. So it's from the general public.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, let's see what are antimicrobials. Now, of course, the word microorganisms or microbes is a general term that include bacteria, viruses, fungal, and other parasitic organisms. So when we talk of antimicrobials, these are substances that are intended to kill these microorganisms, the microbes.
Okay.
So antimicrobials will be substances like tetracycline, which is intended to kill relevant bacteria for a particular infection. So these antimicrobials include antibiotics antivirals, antifungals, and parasites. So these are medicines that are used to prevent and treat infections in humans, animals, and plants. And these infections would have been caused by either bacteria, viruses, or fungal or parasites. So when we talk of resistance, it means that this resistance has occurred when these bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites change over time and no longer respond to the specific medicines that were developed to act against their activities. So they no longer respond to medicines, which means that the infection that is now in the human body will be harder to treat and therefore increasing the risk of diseases. So if it's hard to treat the disease, it means that the microorganisms stay in the body for a longer period of time and therefore gets the chance to infect other people. So there's risk of increasing the spread of the disease and obviously severity of the disease, as well as causing death to the people who would be affected. So what we are seeing here is that at the end of the day, drug resistance by these microorganisms become ineffective and infections become increasingly difficult or impossible to treat. And in Tanzania, we see this more often, like now we are talking of anti-malarial that have become resistant to, malaria has become resistant to anti-malarial drugs and other bacterial and fungal infection. So this is what I would like to say at the outset to get us all in common understanding or conceptualizing this aspect of antimicrobials and antimicrobial resistance. That the microbes have become resistant to the drugs that were manufactured to actually kill them.
Okay. Thanks for that nice introduction to the topic. And now, Prof, we would like to know why antimicrobial resistance it is a global concerning. Why the WHO should bother this antimicrobial resistance?
Thank you very much for that question. I think it has become a global concern because of the global nature of the effect of this disease. And it's a global concern because there's widespread use of antibiotics currently in food production, in treatment of animals, as well as humans. So the wide use of these antibiotics, because this is something that was manufactured and it was effective in treating these diseases, but then because of other aspects, or which I would talk about it later, is that many countries or areas in the food industry, animal production, as well as crop and plant production, have used or are using these antimicrobial antibiotics or other products to actually treat diseases that are affecting plants, humans, and animals. So there has been like continued exposure to antibiotics. And this actually has come about probably due to interaction of humans in terms of trade, that foods are moving long distances nowadays from one area to another. So there's crossing of, like if there are antibiotic residues in the foods, and then those foods are transported to far distant places, consumers in that area would get that antibiotic in their systems, and therefore creating like a situation of making those microorganisms develop genes against the antibiotics. So this interaction and global economy that is going on at the moment, I think, has made this problem a global concern. Otherwise, if production and consumption was local, we wouldn't see a lot of this condition, or a lot of these problems occurring in this in a wide area in the area. So continued exposure to antibiotics has enabled bacteria and other pathogens to evolve powerful resistance. Another aspect that actually has made this resistance a global concern is actually misuse and overuse of antimicrobials, which are then the main drivers in the development of drug-resistant pathogens. When I talk of misuse, production of these antibiotics probably regulated in some countries, but not in other countries. Again, the prescription and duration of use of these antibiotics is not uniform across the globe. Also, the quality of the drugs that are produced is not up to standard. There are drugs that are produced, but the active ingredient in those drugs is not up to the level that is required for the antibiotics or antimicrobials to work. So all those kind of things actually have caused this problem to be global, because drugs also travel from one area to another. We don't have like a localized way of producing these drugs, and it means that the misuse, overuse, or not to produce drugs to the standard that is required has made this problem really a global concern. I'll take one example, actually in Tanzania here. We have a common practice of people failing to complete a course of antibiotic. You're prescribed to take antibiotic for 5 days. Then you say, okay, when you are very sick, you take it for, and once you start feeling better, you say, okay, now I'm better, I don't have to continue with the drug, you see. Yeah, but sure. The prescription requires you to do it for 5 days, and then you don't do it. Because if you do it for 3 days, it means that you've just managed to partially arrest or kill some of the microbes, but others would not have been affected with the antibiotic, and therefore you're giving them a chance to evolve. So this can unnecessarily help bacteria to evolve resistance to antibiotics, and much faster, because you are not treating it effectively. You are not treating it effectively. So it's a malpractice, and I know this is, even yourselves, I think you can identify with this kind of. And because of that, it becomes a really big problem. And then it's a global concern because it affects many people. Yeah. I think it is spread very rapidly, and we are seeing malt and pan-resistant bacteria, which are all over the place. So that causes infection that are not treatable with existing antimicrobial medicines. And then it's a global concern because it has been shown that antimicrobial resistant infections caused 1.27 million deaths in 2019.
Okay.
And was associated with 4.9, actually that was recent, the 1.27 million, but it was associated with 4.92 million deaths in 2019. So direct 1.27 million people, or deaths, if I may put it that way, and association with the deaths, 4.95 million deaths in 2019 is very high. I think the deaths arising from antimicrobial resistance are higher than those caused by HIV/AIDS and malaria combined, and that is worldwide. So that's why WHO is really concerned about this antimicrobial resistance. And it is estimated that, or projected that by 2050, it will cause about 10 million deaths.
Okay.
So this would actually overtake cancer as a leading cause of death right now worldwide.
Okay.
So the WHO actually has declared that antimicrobial resistance is one of the top 10 global public health threats facing humanity.
Okay.
And this is basically caused by probably limited measures to prevent infection, because this is the best way of overcoming this antimicrobial resistance, if we could actually prevent infection. So lack of clean water and sanitation, inadequate infection prevention and control measures really promote spread of microbes, some of which can be resistant to microbial treatment. And I mentioned earlier on why it is a global concern, because there is now an increased human interaction, and we see this as occurred over probably past 2 decades, and you see that there's increased movement of people from one area to another. If you board a flight from Dubai to east or west, a flight that takes about 300 people, it means that you have these 300 people at one point, at one place for a long period, like you're crossing the Atlantic or Pacific, and then you have all those people together. This means that if there's anybody with infection, the chances of the risk of infecting others is much higher. And we have seen this with COVID. With bacteria, it's not something that is dramatic the way we have observed with COVID. So COVID actually has taught us something that, you know, when you are together for a long period of time, the rate of infection is much higher. And that's why we had social distancing, masking, and all that to really prevent. So for something dramatic like COVID is possible, but for something that is not dramatic, like bacterial infection or fungal infection, it's very difficult for people to realize that there is infection going around them. And therefore, the issue of prevention becomes very, very important. And this is why I think global concern is important, so that we are together able to prevent this, this problem. Over.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, dearest Prof. I think we have understood it very well, and we have got a lot of details concerning the question. But to the second question, I would like we would like to understanding the association between antimicrobial resistance and diet.
Okay, thank you. Now, I think I mentioned earlier on that consumption of antibiotics are used to treat animal diseases, even plants and humans. Now, it means that the kind of diet one consumes actually would, to some extent, have an effect on their genes and resistance to these microorganisms.
Okay.
Naturally, humans carry antibiotic resistance in the microbes that live in the human system. So collectively, the microorganisms that are present in the body have that capacity or component to resist some microorganisms. So they help the body to attack some of the harmful microorganisms that may have infected the body. So the human antibiotic resistance that we have naturally in our body, you know that we are harboring tens and millions of microorganisms, which collectively are known as the human microbiome. These are in your digestive system.
Okay.
So these microorganisms have to be nurtured so that they can be able to perform their function in your body. You must have them. If you don't have them, then you succumb to the problems, the microorganisms that come from the environment through food, water, or air. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is a very powerful way of shaping the human gut microbiome.
Okay.
And maybe a tractable method for reducing actually antibiotic resistance. However, I must admit that very little is known about the relationship between that and antimicrobial resistance. But there is this hypothesis, if I may put it that way, that your body microorganisms are there to help you fight against harmful bacteria that enter your body by either producing enzymes that can destroy or by producing some nutrients that are missing in the diet. You know that in the large intestine we have microorganisms can produce substances that are necessary for the immune system or even attacking some of these. So in that aspect, diet can play a significant role in ensuring that your human microbiome is healthy in your gut so that you can fight against even antimicrobial resistance. Because then the microorganisms that are coming to harm you will not be able to do that because you have your natural defensive mechanism. But again, we can say that diet can also be a source of antimicrobial resistance, but it can also be a solution to reduce antimicrobial resistance. The reason I'm saying this is that as a source, it means that if you consume diet that is high in animal protein, like from beef, chicken, or pork or any other, at least these domesticated animals, the chances are that if these animals are treated using antibiotics, then you'll be exposed to the residues of the antibiotics in the diet. So that can be a source, especially if you are eating animal protein.
Okay.
But you can also, so if you eat animal protein, it means that you're constantly exposed to microbes. And considering that we don't have any regulatory mechanisms in place in this country to actually regulate the types of antibiotics and the animals that are sold. You raise your chicken in your backyard, you treat your chicken with antibiotics and then you just sell them. There's no where that you take for that meat to be tested to see if it's good for human consumption. So these are things that are really causing some of microbial resistance in our systems through diet. But it has been also shown in some studies that people who consume diversified diet, high in fiber content, are at lower risk of developing antimicrobial resistance compared to people who consume animal source foods. So health eating of diversified diet, high in fiber, both, we have two types of fiber, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Which ones?
Soluble and insoluble.
Yes, soluble and insoluble. So if you, both of these are good in trying to reduce the effect of antimicrobial resistance. So there was a study that was done looking at the consumption of people who consume high protein intake and those who consume diversified, probably low protein intake, and that those who had consumed, those who had more protein in their diet actually had low low level of antibiotic resistant genes compared to those who were consuming high fiber diet. So you could see that with high fiber diet, you have more antibiotic resistant genes than when you are consuming high protein diet. So your microbes in the system actually respond better to fiber than to protein. Obviously, the antibiotics coming with the protein also in your diet would make that to be even more serious. Okay.
Okay.
So as a solution, we are thinking like if we consume high fiber diet, it might help to really reduce the risks associated with antimicrobial resistance.
Okay. Thank you for that nice presentation. So, Prof, like you have already responded to the next question. The next question were about the nutrition intervention that are in place right now in Tanzania to address the problem. So I can rephrase it into, there is any other interventions that as Tanzanian we use to address this kind of problem as far as it is a global concerning?
Yes, and as far as nutrition interventions are concerned, I don't think we have any intervention so far. to really address this challenge. Anyway, probably I'm not aware of any, but probably members in the who are participating in this event might know some intervention, but personally, I don't think I know any intervention that has really addressed this aspect of antimicrobial resistance. Of course, there's interventions to address food safety in general, but specifically for antimicrobial resistance, I'm not aware of. However, we have the National Action Plan on antimicrobial resistance, and they have established a secretariat and that various teams or committees that are working on this. This was antimicrobial action plan from 2017 to 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So something is happening. And as a country, we have taken action and we have this in place, and it has been in operation for quite some time now. And probably they are thinking of coming up with another plan for other coming years. So something is happening. The National Action Plan, I don't know whether I have a copy somewhere. Yeah, so something is happening, at least in the country. Let me see.
Okay.
But as far as nutrition is concerned, I don't think we have interventions. Perhaps members can add to that.
Okay. Thank you for that contribution. I think you have also already responding to the next question. Maybe I would like to ask you another question. That how can antimicrobial resistance be reduced in nutritional life cycle?
What do you mean nutritional life cycle?
I think they mean like
But you said through lifestyle, eh?
Yeah, it is through
How
lifestyle.
can we control the incidences of developing antimicrobial resistance through lifestyle? Or did you mean through life cycle?
No, through nutritional lifestyle.
Okay. I think the best way to control and prevent, best and first line of that is to prevent the infection from happening. That we need to actually make sure that we don't get infections. And first line of defense of preventing infections is to strengthen your immune system. We've seen that the microbes in the gut also contribute to the immune system of the body. And in the immune system, we have all those white blood cells and other cells that are the monocytes and all those kind of cells that actually act on invading bacteria, fungus, viruses. In order to ensure that these systems in the body are functional, we must provide them with the necessary nutrients that would make them functional. We have seen earlier on that for the microbes in the GI tract, you have to give them the necessary substrates or the necessary nutrients so that they can survive. And one other thing is that when you use strong antibiotics, actually part of your microbes in the GIT is also affected. So part of that will be killed. Not all of it, because these are millions and millions and they divide very fast. So you have to really replenish or make sure that your microbiome in the system regenerates quickly, so that you don't succumb to the next infection or to a next infection. So what you need to do is that's why sometimes when you're prescribed antibiotic, nutritionists would argue that you need to also take multivitamins to ensure that your immune system is maintained and you continue to make the new cells in your system. So prevent infection. We can prevent infection by consuming diet that is high in fiber. And that high in fiber means that you are eating vegetables and fruits.
Okay.
Because these are high in fiber. And then obviously other foods like beans and cowpeas and all those kind of legumes. These are considered as high fiber foods, and that would ensure that your microbes in the system are well supplied with the substrate for their survival. Another thing is maintaining healthy environment. When I say healthy environment here, I would mean that in terms of ensuring personal hygiene, washing of hands, and we've seen this in COVID-19, that washing of hands was emphasized because your hands actually is carrying a lot of microbes around, because you're touching everywhere and everything, and actually you're carrying these microbes all the time. So washing of hands is very important. Maintaining clean environment so that there are no sites for bacteria, fungi, or other parasites to thrive. And then I think we need to have rational use of antibacterials. Use of antibacterial medicines in human and animal health has to be rationalized, that not to just decide on your own to use antibiotics. Sometimes even in our hospitals, without even doing any test to see whether you have really infection, they just prescribe the antibiotics. So this is something that can help to reduce resistance, but also a regulation on over-the-counter availability of antibiotics. In this country, you can just walk in a pharmacy and buy antibiotics. Nobody asks you about a prescription from anybody. That's serious malpractice, actually. But because we are linking that to business, then nobody pays attention to that issue. But again, how can we control this? I think to improve awareness and understanding of antimicrobial resistance. Not many people are aware of this. Obviously, it is discussed a lot as far as malaria is concerned. I think we have said a lot that around malaria infection, but not so much in other infections like bacteria. So we need effective communication, education, and training for the general population to understand what is that and what measures they can take to actually use it. The best way to control this is actually to make sure that you don't get infected. Because once you get infected, the best line of treatment is antibiotics if you are infected by bacteria or fungus or whatever. So we must strive to ensure that we don't get exposed to microorganisms. But also to strengthen our immune system, or reduce incidence of infection through effective sanitation, hygiene, and infection preventive measures. As we have seen during COVID-19, I think if we could have continued with that, it would have been a very good practice in the country to really prevent this. Because I remember when we were told to wear masks and wash hands, and everybody was doing that, actually the incidences of coughing or cold or whatever went down significantly. And so if people can improve their hand hygiene and prevention and control measures, this would be, but now I think we have relaxed everything, and obviously the rate of infection of even simple cold or cough or whatever is increasing. So what I would say as far as nutrition is concerned, I think we need to strengthen nutrition status, especially the immune system, to fight against microbes. And with antimicrobial resistance, it doesn't matter whether you are undernourished or you are overweight and obese. The effect is almost the same. So if we prevent undernourishment, eventually we'll be able to, or if we prevent all forms of malnutrition, eventually we'll be able to fight this condition. Okay, how much time do we have?
15 more minutes.
Hello? Sorry?
We have 15 more minutes.
Oh, okay. So I'm done with that question, I guess. I don't know if there are any questions, or we could go to the second topic.
In the second topic, it was shortly to describe on the therapeutic roles of nutrition in the hospital settings.
Yes, this is very interesting. Actually, this is a very interesting topic, and it has never been brought up anywhere. Actually, it is mentioned and not discussed, and no action has been taken actually to ensure that we have nutritionists in hospitals. And we all know that proper nutrition is necessary for patients. Proper nutrition is good for people who have surgical wounds so that they can heal faster. It also helps to control chronic diseases in our hospitals. But also after treatment, it's important for, again, building and maintaining strength of the body. Now, when you are ill, one of the challenges that you face is that whatever kind of illness, if you have increased temperature or whatever, then suddenly your appetite just disappears.
Yes.
And that could be prior to actual feeling bad in terms of illness. Because you start losing appetite and you feel like, okay, probably it's just one of those things. Not knowing that your body is actually in a trauma. There's inflammation going on in your body. So you start losing appetite, and if you lose appetite, it means that your daily intake requirement is never attained because your intake is reduced. So once you're ill, it means that you cannot eat anything, and you become selective, the type of food that you prefer to eat. So nutrition support at that particular time is very, very important. And that's why in some hospital settings, patients are actually given nutrition support orally or intravenously, or we call it, we have a medical person here in the group.
Isaac Martin.
What do you usually do when you have these patients who cannot consume food orally, or they cannot chew, they're just too sick to chew anything, but they need nutrition support?
Isaac Martin. Dr. Isaac,
Yes.
may you please answer that question?
For patients who cannot chew, we give them ways by using nasogastric tube. First, we insert to the food pipes, and we set the meal using the nasogastric tube, or we can give them by intravenously. By calculating the calories they need per day, and then we give them the calories they need, for the patient to survive, or to still get the nutrients they need at the time they can't chew.
Okay, who usually do that? Do you have the knowledge background to actually be able to do that, or do that in dietitians in the hospital?
Pardon?
Do you have background training in that aspect, or do you usually do that together with dietitians or nutritionists in your hospital?
We are trained during internship in medical school on of calories they need, especially in children. But in adults, we are just trained to calculate and give them the nutrients they require.
Okay, so obviously you usually do not do like nutrition assessment or anything like that. It's just based on your understanding of the patient and the kind of condition that the patient is in. Then you administer whatever is supposed to be administered.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe in children we calculate the, but in adults we just based in the understanding.
Okay. But I think by now, as a medical doctor, you see the importance of having a nutritionist in a hospital setting. What is not happening? Why it's not happening is that probably the medical profession consider that they are well equipped to address all aspects related to patient care in a hospital setting without any support from nutritionist or dietitian. But the role of nutritionist here would be like, even for patients who are not hospitalized, they are just outpatients. For any medication, there's always a diet or package that should accompany utilization or use of a certain drug. And therefore, I think in this aspect, we actually need to have nutritionists in all hospitals so that they can see the type of drugs that patients are given and what nutrition support should accompany the use of that drug. The only challenge that I see here is that we do not have well-trained therapeutic nutritionists in the country. We can have those who would just advise about diet in general, but not diet related to use of a certain drug or diet related to certain drugs. So it's a new area that people who are interested could actually go on and read about it and see how they can help our people in hospitals. But we need nutritionists to advise about the general diet that people should use when they are sick, even to design or formulate meals that are served to patients when they are admitted in hospitals. So this is not happening at the moment, and it's important that we have this profession there to actually advise. Or I don't know who is responsible in the hospital kitchens. Do we have dietitians or just an employee who will just cook whatever is available for patients to eat? Or the setup there, I'm not too familiar about that. So I think it's something that we could pick up and see how we can advise the government on the types of foods or meals that should be prepared in our hospitals and in our schools, if I may add to that. So we need actually to know what are the appropriate food and drinks that patients should be given when using certain drugs, or generally when they are hospitalized, and what type of diet should be offered to our patients.
Okay.
So nutritionists will be there to provide counseling. There are certain hospitals, basically private hospitals, who have attempted to employ nutritionists to provide counseling in disease and health. These are actually there sometimes before a patient is scheduled to see the doctor. Then they'll pass through the nutritionist and then given counseling. In hospitals where patients are weighed, you go to a hospital sometimes and then nobody takes your weight, and you see your doctor, and doctor prescribes medicine without even knowing your nutritional situation or nutrition status. So if we could have nutritionists there who would do the counseling before the patient sees the doctor, then that would be very useful, because the doctor will also be aware of the nutrition status of that individual when prescribing medicine.
Okay, thank you. As we are approaching to the end, we would like to know why people they don't expose to those nutritionists to ensure the health well-being of the patient.
I think usually nutritionists are behind the curtain. They are always. I think our visibility as nutritionists in the medical profession is in the healthcare system is not well defined, if I may put it that way. So it means that people are not aware that a nutritionist can do something to their health. Disease for many people is not related to food. So if you talk of a disease, it's just a disease that has been caused by parasites or bacteria or fungus or virus, and has nothing to do with food. And this is misconception that is among ourselves, that a disease is a disease and food is food and something else. So a nutritionist cannot advise me on this. So I think it's high time as a nutritionist to really become visible in this health system, so that people are aware about you. Wherever you are sitting, you can start your own kijiwe ukakaa hapo watu wakaji. Na sasa hivi watu wanahitaji sana sana mwongozo wa lishe kuliko wakati mwingine wote. Kwa hiyo mtu akisema tu kwamba ana ofisi yake ambayo itatoa ushauri wa lishe, nafikiri atakuwa overwhelmed kwa jinsi watu ambavyo wanahitaji hiyo information. Kwa hiyo kwa nini watu hawaendi? Nafikiri tujiulize kwa nini watu hawaji kwetu, si ndio?
Yeah, sure.
Kwa nini watu hawaji? Tujiulize kwa nini watu hawaji, kwa sababu sisi wenyewe hatujaenda kwa watu. So hatuwezi kukaa mahali tukategemea na tukatarajia kwamba watu watatufuata bila sisi wenyewe kuwa tumejitangaza na kusema. Tumewaachia watu wengi ambao kwa kweli hawako trained kwenye nutrition wafanye hiyo kazi kwa niaba yetu. Kwa hivyo inakuwa kidogo
changamoto. Okay, thanks to our dearest Prof. And as we are approaching to the end, there is one participant. He wanted to know the Tanzania nutritionist or dietitian. Do we have a body for registration and license? So I would like you to pinpoint some point concerning that question. And then I see there is Erick Killel will also have 1 minute to add on that. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. I think recently there has been, I think they've started an association, I don't know whether it's an association or whatever, of nutrition and nutritionists and dietetics, I think, association.
Okay.
And so far we do not have registration, and this association is actually striving to come up with that so that people can actually register as nutritionists or dietitians, so that you have your registration. And to get a registration, I think you have to go several kind of tests or professional exams to be registered. So I think there's this movement going on, there's this initiative going on, and I guess this is something to take us a bit away from people speaking for us, and as nutritionists we are nowhere to be heard or seen, so we have left that profession to be handled by people who are not trained. So I think this would be very good.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Erick Killel. Erick, are you hearing me? Yeah, I know you are at TFNC, and our dearest Prof pinpoint there is an important organization concerning the boarding for registering nutritionists and dietitian. Can you have 1 minute to pinpoint about that?
Okay. Thank you very much, Fahad. And as you said, I'm Erick Killel, and for now I'm at studies. I'm studying at Nelson Mandela, and for that body, of course, there is a body which is nowadays called Tanzania Nutrition and Dietetics Association. Usually, the body was started by few members who were the graduates of nutrition from Sokoine, but they now are trying to register as many nutritionists as possible, because in order for us to have a registration body, we should have the organization or association which will have active members, and there is a number which is required for us now to move to the next stage of having our registration body as a nutritionist and a dietitian. And from there you can now start operating in the hospital setting and in the other areas, so as to provide those services. But as Professor Kinabo said, for sure, we as nutritionists, we need more advanced modules, especially for the medical nutrition therapy, as we lack in our university. And There are online courses that are usually offered by different organizations so as to enrich your knowledge on how to perform those medical nutrition therapy, so that to make sure that all patients who are come to the hospital setting, first of all, they follow those procedures of nutrition assessment, counseling, and support, so that when the doctor prescribes medicine, he or she usually know the weight of a patient and also the medication in which the doctor prescribed to the patient need to be known by the nutritionist who is there at the center, so that he can advise on the type of diet to be consumed and according to the, so as to avoid those nutrient drug interaction and the drug nutrient interaction. So for sure, I'm still pinpointing those points from Professor Kinabo. Despite I'm very late to join you, but I took a few comments from Professor, and we as nutritionists, we need to work more hard so that when you get the position in a certain hospital, maybe to volunteer or to have employment there, you should always show your ability, even if there are some challenges there, but try to show that this field is very important, and I'm still insisting you all to join the organization, the association, Tanzania Dietetics and Nutrition Association of Tanzania, which is the new body, so that we can come up with this strategy of having our body, registration body. So I can say just that. So thank you very much for this chance, and
Okay, thank you.
I'm very happy to join you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Killel. So, Ms. Sala, welcome to conclude and have some sort of special thanks to our dearest Prof for giving us this precious time. Welcome.
Before
Thank
you do
you
that,
so
Sarah, before
Yes.
you do that, I see Maduhu hands
Yes,
up.
Maduhu. Yes.
Maduhu? Yes, Maduhu.
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, my name is Madu from Muhimbili as a nutritionist. Also, now I have currently finished my postgraduate in clinical nutrition at UK. So I'm so happy to hear from my prof a lot of information about medical nutrition in our country. But I should add more on medical service well being operated in our country, especially in our hospital. There's a lot of challenge, especially we don't have nutritional guideline. Even those doctors which are being prescribed some nutrients to the patients for diet prescription about the kind of food and the drug nutrition interventions, especially in the biomark, especially if we found a patient like having a kidney failure or cardiac problems, and being a challenge to doctors to advise on diet. But nutritionists or dietitians are very crucial to learn those activities in hospital. But what I advise as a nutritionist or dietitian in our country, we need to prepare the medical nutritional guideline. We should have the board which can recognize what our activities have been learning in the country. Also, we should have like a conference publishing like a paper, journals, also some curriculum. If I'm not mistaken, I have supervised some students from Sokoine University. If you ask them about how to conduct nutritional assessment for ICU patient or cardiovascular problem patient or kidney failure patients, it's become a big challenge because they have been taught to assess like weighing scale, MUAC. There is a little bit which they will need to go deeply on how to assess these things in the hospital in order to reduce the cost. Meal plans, even the diet prescription, we should quantify how much you are giving the patient, or the dosage in terms of carbs, in terms of protein, in term of fiber, in term of fluid. Kama swali prof aliuliza kwamba kwa daktari hapo kwamba mnafanyaje wagonjwa ambao kwamba hawawezi kuchua kumasticate foods, kuna enteral feeds ambazo ni liquid form, especially for ICU patients. Tunawapa enteral feeds kwa kutumia total parenteral nutrition, kwa kutumia kuna peripheral form and central line ambazo unaweza ukaprescribe, lakini hiyo lazima uifanye baada ya kufanya thorough assessment. Eza mgonjwa alikuwa amekaa 5 to 6 days yuko kwenye starving, lazima control feeding syndrome. Kwa ni vitu ambavyo pia tunavimisi kutoka vioni kwetu. Tukija kwenye hospital setting inakuwa ni changamoto. Alafu hospitali pia hatuna guideline kwamba tunatakiwa tufanye nini. Kwa sasa hivi imekuwa ni hot cake kwa nutritionist kuweka in hospital, hata madaktari wanapata changamoto. Kwa hiyo it is our room to work on. Na pia tunahitaji walimu wetu kwa vioni hizo curriculum at least ziwe linked na zile medical therapy za nutrition kwenye hospital. Kwa kweli tunapata challenge sana. Kwa hiyo ya kwangu ni hayo tu, lakini we need dig more on how to go far for our service ili kuweza kuiweka sawa. Asanteni sana.
Tunashukuru sana Bwana Maduhu. Sasa hapo ulipo.
Yes. Yeah.
Hapo ulipo lazima uchukue hilo jukumu.
Yes, I did.
La kuanzisha huo mchakato wa kuja na guidelines, kwa sababu wewe ndio uko jikoni unayaona hayo.
Yeah.
Na tutashukuru kama utakuwa na muda wa kuwa unatoa talks ukija pale SUA kwenye program ya nutrition. Maana tuna therapeutic nutrition. Ila sasa wewe ukituambia kule kwenye setting kuna shida gani, itakuwa rahisi na training. Kwa hiyo kama unaweza tukakuomba wewe unakuja kutoa labda a lecture or two on that aspect, ili hata sisi tufunguke, kwa sababu wengine hospital setting ni kituo cha polisi.
Exactly, naelewa prof.
Kwa hiyo hatujui hasa undani. Kwa hiyo sijui Sarah hapo umekaaje, lakini tutamuomba Bwana Maduhu aanzishe huo mchakato wa kuja na guidelines.
Okay. Wow, that will be good.
Yeah, asante sana.
Okay, Sarah, can you finalize?
Okay, thank you so much. Ila kulikuwa kuna swali moja, kuna mtu aliomba uulize ABC. Can you please ask?
Thank you so much, Sarah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for this opportunity. And thank you so much, Professor Joyce Kinabo, for a well-informed, wonderful and enlightening presentation. I would like to share with you a short theory and ask what you'd have to say about it. It is well known that our body immune system is dynamic, meaning that it can combat a wide range of diseases causing microorganisms using various different mechanisms. May you elucidate if we can replace the current therapeutic approach of using antimicrobial drugs by preparing special nutritional remedies which can either strengthen the immune system or have direct effect on the resistant microorganisms, or both?
That's $1 million question, eh? Okay, let me see if I can be able to respond. Right away, I think when we were created, God did not create diseases. He made us perfect with all systems. Tuna mfumo wa afya, tuna mfumo wa chakula, tuna mfumo wa kila kitu was made perfect. Sasa tulipozidiwa na haya mambo mengine, nafikiri ikatu cost. Inatu cost because our immune system has to be nurtured. Lazima uilishe. Na ukiilisha, believe me, hakuna mbu atakuuma ndio, lakini parasite hata cause havoc. Utapata infection za bacteria na virus, lakini utapata shida. Kwa hiyo tusiseme kwamba tutakuja na special remedy or therapeutic for a stress. Hiki chakula tulicho nacho kinatosha ku strengthen immune system. What we need to do is to make sure that we get a balanced diet and balanced lifestyle. Ukishakula balanced diet yako, umepata vitamini zako za kutosha, madini yako ya kutosha, umepata energy ya kuwezesha msukumo wa mwili uendelee, ile balanced diet yako inatosha kukujengea immune system kubwa ya kupingana na maradhi haya. So I don't think it will be a bit expensive or sometimes probably not even accessible for some when you develop these remedies. To combination ya vyakula mahali pale tulipo itatusaidia sana kupunguza hiyo, kwa sababu kishakula mlo wa kutosha kamili, mifumo yote ikaridhika na kujijenga, uwezekano wa wewe kuwa na kupata infection, hata hiyo antimicrobial resistance won't be a question, kwa sababu hao microbes hawataingia kwako. Imekuwa resistance kwa sababu ukishapata infection ukiwa treated huponi haraka, lakini kama hawaingii na au wakiingia wanashughulikiwa mara moja, hawakozi havoc mwilini, then there's no need of having to hakutakuwa na issue ya antimicrobial resistance. Lakini tunachosema kwamba strengthen, ndio maana nimesisitiza kwenye one of my points, strengthen the immune system in the body by eating a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables and moderate protein, ile inayotosha kukujengea immune system yako, then you are good. What was the other part of the question, if you can?
No, the main question was if nutrition can replace the current therapeutic approach. Yani badala ya kutumia dawa tukatumia nutrition.
Kabisa.
So inaweza
kutumia linear antibiotic.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof.
Nasaidia.
That's good.
I can see a hand from Maduhu again.
It's the previous.
Okay.
It is now I have raised my hands now.
Okay.
So, yeah, nilikuwa kidogo nataka kusisitiza upande wa therapeutic kwa upande wa tunaita immunonutrition. Kwenye immunonutrition kama alivyosema Prof, we should eat much fiber. Ambao those fibers ndio wanao increase microbiota especially in the colon. Ambao pia wanaweza kufanya resistance ya kudigest zile fiber into short chain fatty acid ambazo zinakuwa zina release hizo energy. Pia unaweza ku-accumulate a high amount ya vitamin B12 na folic acid. Kwa unapofanya diversity ya hao microbiota in the colon, unaweza pia ukaboost your immunity. Na tusibase tu kwenye fiber ambazo tunaweza kuzipata kwenye fruits and vegetables, pia tunaweza kuzipata kwenye nuts au plant-based protein. Hizo ni reliable kucompare na mtu ambaye anayepata protein ambazo ni animal source. Animal sources zina increase kwa mfano atherosclerosis kwa kuongeza oxidation rate. Kwa hiyo inakuwa ni challenge kuweza kuachieve. Kwa hiyo most therapeutic feeds for immunity ni kubase kwenye high fiber ambayo unaipata kwenye plant-based na plant-based especially protein based plant na fiber ambayo tunaipata kwenye vegetable and fruits. Lakini unapoconsume a lot of fruits pia unaweza ukapata much fructose ambazo unaweza ukapata pia liver fat disease ambayo ina big challenge. Lakini unaangalia kwenye communities za kwetu ambao society za kwetu, hizi fiber, do we get the reliable fiber au ni changamoto? Sasa hivi tunakula junk foods na hizo animal protein ambazo kwa mfano sasa hivi tunapata hizo antimicrobial resistance. Nadhani kama siku 4 zimepita tu kwa Muhimbili wamefanya research kwa upande wa hizi broiler chicken. Sasa wamekutwa na hizo nani sulfonate na tetracycline na resistance na hizo drugs wanazowapa. Kwa hiyo inakuwa kwamba ni challenge kwa wale wanapo treat au wadudu. Kwa therapeutic feeds mimi na encourage upande wa plant based protein and na hizo vegetable and fruits, lakini uangalie na do they afford. Huwezi kufanya diet prescription, mtu economic status ni challenge. Lazima ufanye intensive ya uhakika ili uweze kukam na hizo solution. Na mosi tunapata changamoto kwa sababu ya kulack knowledge tu kwenye upande wa medical nutrition. Na tuna hizo state. Yeah.
Maduhu, umeraise issue ya ukila matunda sana utapata fatty liver.
Yeah.
Lakini sasa tunachosemea hapa, hata kama unataka ku strengthen hiyo immune system, you must do physical exercise. Physical activity is very important. I agree with you. Kwa hiyo mimi nabugia matunda ya kutosha tu, fatty liver sijaenda kupima na liver, lakini naiacha mbali kwa sababu nafanya mazoezi.
Yeah, that is good. That's good. I appreciate.
Okay, jamani, naona tumalize.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Mimi sio mwenye mkutano, sorry. Anyway, nawashukuru sana kwa hiyo opportunity. Asante sana.
Okay, Miss Sarah.
We should do this more often. Sarah.
Wow.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Good.
Thank you so much, Professor Joyce Kinabo, for giving us your time. And you have actually answered a lot of questions that we had. You have actually filled us up with knowledge, and we are aware of things that even we didn't know them that much. And we will go out there to actually even try to educate our society more, most especially on the usage of these antibiotics in inappropriate ways, and the appropriate diets that we can consume so as we can have a healthier life and continue having a good well-being, together with raising awareness on us nutritionists, so that we can be more visible to the people in the society, that we can save more lives of the people. Thank you so much, and you are actually warmly welcome to this program once more. It's Mindful Eating Program, and I am Sarah Makweba from Sokoine University. I am entering my second year in the next semester. Thank you so much.
I'm really impressed. Absolutely. This makes my head big here. It fills my room.
Yeah, sure.
I'm really impressed. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Good.
And thank you, everyone.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye for now. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. We have actually learned a lot, and it is a good step in our learning life that we may be able to also educate other people in our society, because it is very, very essential to do that. As doing so, we're going to save more lives, and we are going to have a healthier life more than before. Thank you so much. I may return this to Fahad, Mr. Fahad.
Yes, thank you. I think we can have some sort of interaction for like 1 minute or 2 minutes, like exchanging the phone number. Mr. Maduhu, yeah, we are our brother, and yeah, you are our brother, and of course you are in a system, you are at Muhimbili. I would like you to share with us your phone number so that this young scholar, they can contact you in any time when they have some sort of misunderstanding or dilemma issues. Can you write your phone number or your email? But also I would like to appreciate the presence of everyone, like our dearest bro, Mr. Isaac Martin. He is also a medical personnel. So would like also to have some sort of a phone number or email for the communication. So, okay, that I see Maduhu. So just take that number before we leave this meeting. I hope he will assist us. Those continuing students, the finalists, they have no direction on how they can cope with street life. Mr. Isaac. Yes, okay, that is Isaac. Okay. Another one who like to share with us some sort of communication issues, email or phone number, so that we can continue communicate. But also, Miss Sala, you can also post your phone number so that people they can ask you if you could connect some sort of this meeting and discussion.
Okay.
Yes. But also for those people who will like to join a postgraduate studies, I will also sharing my contact. You can contact me at any time, and I'll be ready to assist you. Now I think we can wind up, unless there is someone who has an opinion or advice on how we have conducted this and the improvement, the expectation. So you can talk right now.
Okay, you're welcome for any suggestions.
Naweza kuongea kidogo Madu hapa.
Okay, yes, Madu, karibu.
Kwa mimi naweza tu nikawashauri ambao pia ni wanafunzi mwaka wa kwanza, wa pili, wa tatu ambao wanatoka Sokoine University kwamba kwa curriculum angalau ya SUA tuwe na modification kidogo. Mimi mwenyewe nimemaliza SUA 2013 ndio ilikuwa first batch ya human nutrition, lakini I was talking baada ya kuajiriwa Muhimbili nikakutana na hizo changamoto. Unaulizwa sasa, nutrition unafanya kazi gani hapa hospitalini? Sasa yaani kuna issue za catering hapa. So hicho kitu kilipaini kwa sababu pia nilikuwa sina package ya kutosha upande wa hospital setting. Kwangu ikanipa like changamoto.
Okay.
Lakini nilikuwa nachukua kwamba kwa wanafunzi ambao waka nakutana nao wanatoka Sokoine wanakuja Muhimbili kwa ajili ya internship au placement period. Issue ya assessment bado ni issue changamoto. Issue ya nutritional pathophysiology ya disease ni challenge. Waka wanaandika report, sijui kwamba hizo report waka wanazifanyia kazi huko walimu wao. Lakini inahitaji kwa mfano wa include nacho kitu tunaita nutritional pharmacology wa include kwenye curriculum.
Okay.
Ambao tunaweza tukaangalia tunaposema kwamba hiyo antimicrobial resistance, kwa sababu mwanafunzi wa mwaka wa kwanza wa pili anaweza kauza what is it, lakini alikuwa amesoma pia pharmacology angeweza kuidentify hivyo vitu. Kuna kingine ambacho tunaita hizi
Okay, ndio tunakusikia.
Kuna kingine ambacho naweza nikasema hata upande wa hizo total parenteral nutrition kwa SUA, like nilifundishwa nadhani na mwalimu na profesa Nyaruhucha alifundisha ni slide tu, wana slide kwamba like kuna enterophils na total endo, lakini intensive jinsi ya kuprescribe hivyo vitu hawa ni challenge. Lakini kama mwanafunzi akiwa amefundishwa kwamba total parenteral nutrition tuna administer vipi, tuna calculate vipi calories au ile fluid au ile dosage, haipo chuoni, hawafundishwi hivyo vitu. Lakini kama angekuwa amefundishwa anakuja tu kupractice kwamba sasa hospitalini anakuja kuviona reality kwamba what we are doing.
Okay.
Kingine kama hicho, walimu pia wana room kubwa ya kuinitiate kutengeneza hizo guideline.
Sure.
Kwamba tuanzie wapi na tuishie wapi, kwa sababu wao ndio tunawatrust a lot of, kwa sababu they are knowledgeable. Wao wangeweza kuinitiate hata hiyo initiate hivi vitu ingekuwa kwao ni rahisi. Kwa mfano kama profesa ni icon kubwa ya Tanzania. She has a room. Definitely. Kwa kama sisi wenyewe tukiamka ambao tuko kwenye setting tunaweza sasa tukawapush hao. Sasa hivi wao pia wamezeeka, wanahitaji energetic person. Kwa if we push them as ourselves kwamba tunafanya nini, kama hizi tukiendana na hizi forum, kama mkiwa mnazi initiate first, kila siku zinafanya hata kwa mwezi hata mara moja tu mna initiate, tunafanya hata collaboration tu, link ya university na wale ambao wanafanya kazi. kwamba tuone wapi gap, kwamba hiyo forum naifanya labda kwa wanafunzi wa SUA wa UDOM na wale preceptors ambao wanafanya kazi mahospitalini, aidha hata wengine wako kwenye community wise,
Definitely.
tuweze kufanya hivyo vitu kwa kusensitize kwamba wapi gap, tufanye nini. Na walimu sasa hiyo forum wanakuwepo kama hivi, we can tell them what should we do ili tuweze kuokoa hili tatizo hili. Kwa hiyo forum kama hii kwangu mimi nimeona kwamba it's the best ya kuweza kukutana wote kuliko kutenga kwamba we should a meeting, sababu kuna opportunity nyingi. Madaktari wenyewe hawajui hivi vitu. I have an experience kwa Muhimbili hapa. Sukari anaanza kutreat tu kwamba blood glucose imeraise, lakini mmoja leta anakuwa kama labda na insulin resistance. Sasa nayo unakuta anaongeza tu dozi ya insulin au ya metformin, which is a big challenge. Lakini sasa ungekuwepo kama sisi wataalamu hivi, we link na wanafunzi. Sasa wanafunzi ambao wanasoma tunafanya nini, kwamba ukishatoka hapo unaenda kufanya nini na vitu gani utatekeleza, utakuwa guided na nini. Sasa hivyo vitu hatuna. Mtu anamaliza ile undergraduate anaanza kusafa kutafuta ajira. Walimu wenyewe wanaweza kutafutia ajira. Kwa nini walimu wasitafute kwamba ajira, mimi namaliza hapa naelekea wapi? Wanakuwa na network. Sasa unatoka swa una input yoyote, uelekee wapi, ujui vitu vingine. Wanahangaika hata hizi nani tunaita hizi field placement, kwa sababu kama kunapo forum kama hizi unapiga tu Muhimbili hapo tunahitaji wanafunzi kadhaa kutoka Sokoine, tunahitaji kutoka Dodoma. Sasa hivyo vitu havifanyiki mpaka sasa hivi, which is very bad.
Kweli Maduhu.
We need to bring challenge kwa watu wa TFNC, what they are doing in terms of nutrition. Watu wa wizarani wanafanya nini? Kwa tunakuwa na one room au na one community ambayo inaweza ikatupa kwamba guidance kwamba tunaelekea wapi. Tutapush vitu haraka na baadaye tutakuwa na community ambayo iko knowledgeable, upande wa research, upande wa clinical community wise, na then tutafanya vitu vikubwa zaidi. Tunahitaji kwamba tuendelee na hizi forum, itatusaidia pakubwa.
Na sawa. Tunashukuru Mr Maduhu. You have been a blessing today. You have been a blessing. I would like
to Pascal ni join.
Pascal kujoin. Pascal, tunakushukuru sana pia kwa kutuletea kaka yetu hapa. Hello.
Mr Fahad.
Yes, Joseph. Yes, Pascal.
Habari za saizi jamani?
Nzuri, karibu kaka.
Asanteni. Nianze kwa kumshukuru Madu, alindiem WhatsApp nilipost status, zeni akaniambia, nikamtumia link, akaniambia atahudhuria, na nipende kumshukuru na amechangia kwa kweli kwa 100%. Na yani kiukweli, yani alivyoongea ni sahihi kabisa. Yani still bado ni challenge. Ni mwenyewe nipo na volunteer na currently nipo halmashauri ya Misungi Mwanza, nafanya volunteer ni katika halmashauri na hospitali ya wilaya. Of course nakutana na challenge nyingi sana. Yani still ushirikiano bado ni mdogo sana kati ya maswalishe na madaktari. Yani it's a big challenge. Kwa hiyo still yani tuna safari ndefu ya kuhakikisha na sisi baadaye tunakuwa na idara yetu. Kwa kweli shafikia hiyo hatua, nadhani tutakuwa kwenye hatua nzuri sana
kweli. Okay, asante. Another one for final remark. Mr Ronyoni, can you say hi? Unmute kwanza.
Hello.
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 Hello. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, what's jamani?
Then after, I think this was very amazing, and we appreciate your contribution, our dear Mrs. Sala, the CEO of Healthy Eating, na mindful some sort of those. Tunaomba utuandalie event nyingine Na tukisikiliza advice ya Maduhu, mimi tu basi niweze kuweka neno juu ya Maduhu kwamba you can also plan it to be conducted every month together with some sort of collaboration na some sort of staff kama kina Maduhu. Nyie student wa Sokoine, some of us we are also student as well but not from Sokoine, na wanafunzi hata wa Dodoma pia tunaweza tukatafuta connection nao kwa sababu wenyewe wanafanya clinical nutrition, so they have some sort of high knowledge as compared to Sokoine, alafu mambo yakawa yanaenda vizuri. Mimi ni appreciate uwepo wa kila mmoja. Kuna mtu labda tujamtaja jina hapa, lakini wewe jua tu kwamba tumeappreciate kila uwepo wa kila mmoja kutoa huu muda wake na kuja kujifunza, inaonyesha ni jambo zuri la msingi. Kwa hiyo Misala, nirudishe kwako, unataka ongee kitu na nahisi kama unataka ongee kitu.
Just to wind up is a great thanks to actually the Almighty God for this wonderful session, and I thank everyone indeed. God bless you.
Wow. Basi sisi tunakufurahia Misala kwa sababu umeweza kujiongeza huko first year, of course paka Prof Kinabo anashangaa, is this first year kwamba anaweza aka coordinate na kuweza kutengeneza platform nzuri kama hii ambayo tumeweza kuongea na kushauriana mambo ya msingi na mazuri. So you are a blessing, but also I would like to appreciate the presence of Joseph. Of course, he's the one also who contributes a lot of effort so that we have a Professor Kinabo. So Mr. Joseph, tuna appreciate your presence and your contribution, and we kindly ask you another time if we'll need you to consult our dearest Prof. Tunaomba uwe tayari kwa ajili ya hilo, lakini pia Prof naye ameshow up kwamba yuko ready kuweza kuhudhuria meeting kama hizi. So it's up to sisi na Misala, you will be the coordinator and you will inform us as you did it. So you made it, and I like to appreciate what you have done. You have done a very amazing job, and God bless you. So tunaweza tukaondoka sasa tukaenda kupata chakula cha mchana.